Good morning, this is Kim Watson speaking. Looking forward to some Friday's live trading, well, potentially at least. Just looking at, I've been looking at the pound yen a bit this morning. I was hoping the pound would just come up a bit further and give me, or the pound yen would come up a little bit further. I was just quite liking this move, but it may have done most of it, and I'm just sitting here patiently at the moment. Just to give you a bit of background on this, so let's come to the 60-minute time frame here and look at. Just looking at the pound yen itself at the moment. Unfortunately, it's broken and gone down a little bit quicker than I'd liked. The pound sitting here consolidated, and really I was looking, if this starts breaking down this morning, I will look to potentially short the pound, but I liked it because the yen itself has been strengthening against the US dollar, and we're seeing it roll over here, and I thought, well, we may as well play a pound yen move, potentially at least. We'll see. So yeah, I just really wanted it to retrace a little bit more, but looks like it might just be going without me. Looked at the euro this morning. The euro, there's a hell of a lot of options sitting above, between actually 1.8 and 150. There's 3 billion worth of options that sit above that area. I do wonder if there'll be pressure onto the downside here, and I'm also just keeping an eye on this, and it's just sitting on its 50 MA. You can see it's a bullish crossover here. So watching these markets, and I was looking at this pound yen for potential short. The pound is suddenly catching the bid. The pound dollar, you can see it against the pound dollar. The pound's catching the bid here. It's looking very ugly against the US dollar, but it's catching the bid. It could, well, actually, if you come back out the time frames really and look at the real picture here, and a break above that daily pivot and the prior highs there would suggest it's a bit stronger, and well, the pound could just within its current 4-hourly range even run back towards these prior highs here, about 31.16. so a bit of a change in the morning. It was looking soft a little while ago, and it was, as I say, against the yen, which is, it looks like the money flows are running into the yen. I've been running into the yen. It's still heading south here at the moment. Shorter term, it's not quite, well, I don't know, it's doing okay. But the yen, in terms of price action, it's not massive price action. If you look at the scaling on the right hand side here, the scaling's all over the shop. If you tighten this up there, and it's there's not massive movements. Really come back to the hourlies, and it had got oversold, on one of my little indicators there, and well, it wouldn't take too much. It'd just take a cough to get it sort of back into range. So just gaining a little bit. The yen, it's sort of strong, and the stronger pairs out there at this stage, but that could soon change. When, as I said, I was looking at the pound yen, and it's really going off the radar a little bit at the moment. We'll see. If anything. If the pound keeps on pushing up, it may become a bit more bullish. It may be switching higher lows on the short time frame here, but keep it open-minded. Would like to see this 8 o'clock pivot hit regardless first. It just takes out the statistic of that being hit, which is high. The more I talk, actually, at this stage, it's looking better on the downside, but I'm just, as I say, just being patient. It's only 9 o'clock. Just see what happens here. It's really getting the picture of what the pound dollar's doing here, and just seeing this pound bid up a little bit. And if you look at the euro pound, you see the euro's taking a kick in this morning. It came off very quickly, so there is a bit of pound strength there kicking through. So not chasing into anything too quickly at this moment. Okay, so looking about to just take a short here on the pound yen. It's just breaking my little trend line here, so just putting a stop above these highs here. It needs to be, just check that's 57, needs to be a little bit higher there, probably 14 pip stop above there. Just adjust that if I can quickly before we get in there. So 14 pip stop there. It's not a great risk reward on this. See if it triggers the low here, 13945. Just see what it does here. But just looking to sell back towards its just from this consolidation phase, just to see if it rolls back towards the 60-minute 100. Just looking to see if we can get a move back towards this sort of area. There is other support that's not too far away from that, so it seems like a logical point. So that's what I'm looking at. let's just wait and see if it does it, he says. So just bring this back in, look at the short term. Is it going to catch a bounce again? Nope, it's catching the bid again at the moment. I'm looking at the pound dollar as well at this stage, so looking right the way across. That's in quite a range, but it's still got some potential downside. But for now, I'll maybe just stalling this, we'll see. Okay, I'm selling here, so just press the sell button so the order's placed and in. I'm sitting there short pound yen. So just to clarify the position I've taken here, then stop is just above the highs here. I could look for the ultimate highs here, but the risk doesn't just. If I'm going to get stopped here, the price may well run back towards daily pivot and beyond. So there's no point in putting the stop up beyond there. It's changed the shape. It'll put higher lows, higher highs in, and maybe a change of direction. Target wise, let's just bring it onto a higher time frame chart. It's really what I'm looking at here. Is simply around the 60-minute 100 there. So really just in the bigger picture of things here, you see we've got the lower high confirmed in here. So really just trading with the trend a little bit here. Just being patient, waiting to see if it rolls over. As I say, just a nearish term stop here, and just got in around about here. So that's it in summary. Just looking to see if this will push on further, just break through the S1 a little and run through there. Now if it did gain any momentum, maybe it could run off towards that 60-minute 200. Personally, on a Friday with sort of lowish volumes and a holiday mood, I'll be quite happy to take the profit out and into the 100 there. Okay, that's it for now. I shall leave that rolling. Okay, so just been stopped here. It's just not come to anything. It broke me a little trend line there in the downward trend. It's still arguably in a downward trend. Could have put a larger stop on this. May still roll over, but the pound itself, the pound aspect of this pairing is catching the bid at the moment, and it looks like it could. As messy as anything here on this time frame. Let's just bring it out to the hourly here. Could be starting to make a bit more of an effort and to push further up here. So I'm just watching that as well now. Actually, maybe looking at the long side on that. The pound's been going quite well, but say quite well within a range, and it is quite limited in its range. But I may look at the a trade on the pound dollar in a moment. But stopped for -1R there, so 1% effectively. There we go. So just as I say, just got stopped there. There's the position. There's realized loss at 5,600 yen. Okay, I came back to the desk a while ago, and we were just discussing this trade that I took earlier. It just literally nibbled me out there, the pound yen. Now, as I said at the time, maybe I should have put the stop up higher, but whilst I was only risking a percentage on this, I was just showing like a 1% risk on this, and this is how we work in terms of 1.5%. But okay, I could have, with the same amount of risk, I could have placed it up there with a smaller position. But then the risk reward doesn't sit right for me. So the reward was quite close, really. I didn't expect it to be a major rollover here. Excuse me, because I'm bigger picture bullish on the pound. I still think it's this picture could go and continue upwards. So, well, yeah, it's all relative. Maybe if I needed that bigger stop, I should have left it altogether. But we've seen. I've seen plenty of trades just roll over recently, and it looked good at the time. So as long as it's meeting the rules at the time, as I said, it just literally got a bit oversold effectively on the market. One thing I hadn't noticed, and if I'd seen it at the time, I wouldn't have taken the trade at all. I hadn't realised on the pound yen on the 30-minute time frame, it'd give me a little oversold signal running into that, which there we go. Here we can do it. There we go. It just run into an oversold signal, which often brings it back to its 50. So I hadn't seen it at the time because I don't use the signal on every pair. I tend to use it across the pound, the euro more so. But maybe should have checked it on there, but it got itself a tad oversold. The pound, of course, and everything else weren't oversold, so looked all right. But anyway, so maybe that would have stopped me from taking a trade in the first place. But in terms of the risk and reward, in terms of this, it just, as I said, same risk as in percentage terms, with a stop up here, but then I'm looking for a minimum of really 1.5 to 2 risk reward on it, and it wouldn't have fitted. Here it looked right, and the very fact that it started breaking down here, a little pivot swing, looked bearish, was in trend at the time, and at that point, well, it made sense with us, because if it breaks this area, okay, it did come right the way, or quite a way down here, but when it breaks this, as I said a short while ago, as it breaks this, it's putting a higher low in here, so it's suggesting that there could be a change at that point anyway. Now, as I say, just triggered me out. Didn't trigger everyone out at the same time here, but it certainly did when it came back here. And now we've gone beyond this point here. We've got yet another, a more significant, I would argue, higher low coming into price there, and it's pushing off now. If we just look at the parts versus the dollar, if we look at the pound versus the dollar here, and particularly just look at it, I mean, it's a pig's ear this morning. It ran into 30-minute to 500, 60-minute. I was looking at actually on a 60-minute, it ran into the 200 there, retraced back off that, getting a bit overbought at this stage, but did wonder it would push up that way, but couldn't really trust it into the 200, and then it becomes 10 o'clock and it's not a trade. So that's the pound aspect of it. The yen, well, it has been doing pretty much and holding pretty much where it was. It's not really done too much at all, and that too actually just signal that's oversold on the 60-minute here. So may get a bit more of a retracement on that yen at some stage. As for trades at the moment, I'm just sitting on my hands. I'm going to just do some full analysis with the guys in the room here, and then if there's anything setting up, I'll look and come back on the sound. Okay, so I've been sitting here for most of the day. It's 7 minutes past 3. I was expecting that maybe the euro would have held back a little bit more. As I said this morning, we had options expiring today at 118. There's about a billion sitting there at 118, 125, somewhere around about this level, and then 150, then another 2 billion up here. So it ended up sort of almost straddling it with the price action here, which sort of pulling back into sort of into at the moment. We could yet see a continuation to that upside, but it's been a slow old move. The pound has already pushed up there and is rolling back as I speak. The yen's softening a little bit. Just there is a bit of softening. These may be opportunities, but at 3 o'clock on a Friday, I'm going to wrap it up here. There's little, well, it's 10 past 3 on a Friday. I'm going to wrap it up here. So that's where we end. So I wish you a great weekend. Hope you all have a great one, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.